We bring in NBC News legal analyst Ari Melber, who watched it all day long. Ari, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. 9 hours of testimony, a lot of drama that we saw. And as I was watching it, I was thinking, what are we learning? What did people take away from that whole show?
This was extraordinary. This is the first time we've heard someone this close to Donald Trump and a Mueller witness speak under oath in public. We learned that he has evidence of the lengths Donald Trump went to cover up those hush payments. We learned that Donald Trump Jr. was directly involved, signing the checks. And we learned that the investigations are far from over, that Michael Cohen, who is a cooperating witness to Mueller, has been providing that material, and that's why they continue to rely on him.
Obviously, he came to this hearing with some baggage. He's pled guilty in 2 different jurisdictions. Was he able to overcome that? Were Democrats able to rehabilitate him, so to speak? Does the corroborative evidence in some ways enhance his credibility?
I think the fact that he brought so much evidence and that Republicans mostly attacked him in broad strokes was helpful to him in revealing. This one is pretty simple, Savannah. He was once charged with lying to Congress. If he did that yesterday, then we would expect that sooner or later he'll be charged again. If he's not charged, that tells you that the independent investigators who handle this, not some of the partisans we saw fighting on the committee, found yesterday's testimony to be credible. And that's why these hearings, for people who sometimes get overwhelmed or even cynical, these hearings do matter. There is a process to fact check them, and people who lie get charged. If he doesn't get charged, that tells you investigators found him credible yesterday.
All right. Ari Melber, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ari.